All right, we're here today to help you as a group leader prepare for week 1 of 1 Month to Live. We want to come and help you guys each week kind of pick this apart and figure out what's the best thing to do in your group. So, you're going to have a lot of random people come up to your house that have filled out a form online, emailed you, you've called or emailed and said, hey, show up at my house. And so what's going to happen?
Well, they come in, you guys eat some cheese and crackers and hang out for a minute. It's time for group to start. Gather everybody around.
Everyone should have a cheese ball, right?
Just one communal cheese ball.
One communal cheese ball. Yes. Some type of snack. We recommend cheese ball.
Yes, there you go. You might want to start with praying. That's always good. It's a good thing to focus people and get people ready. So I would say start with that. Then we get into the love section, the love portion right off the bat. And it starts with some icebreaker type questions. There are 3 here. My recommendation is to start with number 2, which is when you were younger, what did you dream of becoming when you grew up?
I'm glad you asked because I've always, what's wrong?
You dreamed of becoming a dork, you became a dork, done. All right, so number 2 is a good, safe, easy question, probably, and my recommendation, unless you're us. Then you could have everybody in the circle share that. It gives everybody a chance to actually open up and find out it's safe to actually express something. Pretty easy question there. The numbers 1 and 3 maybe just throw out as an optional. Anybody want to answer these type thing. Then we have an introductory section here, followed by the DVD, which is on the first session is 26 minutes long.
Seems kind of long, doesn't it?
It is quite long, especially if you have some distractions and kids and things. That might get frustrating trying to stay focused that long. My suggestion is to either read this introductory section, take some turns reading it, or watch the DVD, one or the other.
You might even read this introductory section out loud, or just summarize it and read it for yourself during the week instead of reading it out loud. Whatever you guys want to do. Just kind of set it up for what you're about to talk about.
Exactly, and then we have some discussion questions which are based on the DVD. Most of these you can use whether you've watched the DVD or not.
Okay, so, but like the one at the end, number 4 this week might be hard to use if you don't use the DVD. So.
Yeah, that one might be a little weird. There's a testimony on the DVD. It starts at 17 minutes in if you wanted to skip there, but it's about a guy who finds out he has cancer and then asks, what did he do about that? So you could either watch the DVD and use that one or maybe just do a hypothetical scenario. But all of these questions are kind of big picture. Remember, this first session is more of an overview, and so it's kind of big picture questions. Don't get frustrated if it's too abstract or whatever.
Yeah. And then we start to get into this part where we actually start opening up the Word a little bit. There's some verses. What do you suggest we do during that part?
This is the Learn session, and it should be a very big part. Depending on time, if you use the DVD, then maybe just pick 1 or 2 of these, whatever you want to do. But the first one is a pretty strong one, a good verse there, and then it just asks some basic questions. And these sorts of questions will be easily answered with just a couple words, couple sentences. So it should be straightforward there. There are these green sections.
Those would be probably good to do on your own, kind of as homework maybe, if people want to do that. Remember, each person in your group is going to have one of these books, so it's something they could do on their own. And as well, you can take these verses and if your group is good at just bringing up discussion on their own, you might just throw out one of these verses and just say, answer this for yourself. What does this mean? So
exactly.
All right, what's next?
Next is the Live section, and this is about personal application, or where do these thoughts and ideas, kind of the big picture ideas and these verses, where do they intersect with my life?
I like the first one probably more than the other 2, but the first one is actually writing down 5 things that would change your life if you only had 1 month to live. And this is something that you could do really quick right there in your group,
right?
And then go around and talk about them, or they could do that as homework too. What would that look like if they were to come back and do that?
Yeah, you could do that. You could start out with some of these things as an icebreaker for the next session, or an introduction for the next session.
Kind of sharing what they wrote down. That's cool.
Right. If it were me, I would probably spend a lot of time in this Live section and try and do that part as a group together. I think that's where some of the best discussion will come out.
And then we have the Leave section. Because you're ready for them to leave your house.
Yeah, that's been there too long, and you get to leave, they'll get the hint. All right, so this is kind of like homework that you go and do. Probably not as a group, you could, but probably not. And this particular one in the first session is where you kind of write a one-sentence mission statement about your life. How do you want people to remember you? So maybe that's something they would go off and do as homework, or you could start the next session by sharing those.
Yeah, good stuff. One thing we want you guys to realize, this is about community. This is about hanging out with people and getting together with some people. This is just the discussion starter. We want you to feel free to use whatever materials we give you, but we also understand that some groups will simply want to hear Brady's message, take a couple of questions and just run with them yourself. We're totally okay with that. We really want this to be an environment where it's not classroom-like. It's really just people hanging out on a couch wearing matching clothing, and maybe you don't have matching clothing, but hanging out on your couch and talking about God, just talking about relationships and answering some of these questions. So you feel free to do whatever God leads you to do with what we're giving you. The last thing that brings lots of community in is, like Finley said, even just prayer. But this kind of gives us a cool way to organize that prayer.
There is a sheet at the end of each session where you can record some prayer requests, and as we used to call them, praise reports. But this is just a good way to share with each other on a little deeper level and serve each other by praying for each other and seeing what needs come up within your group.
Have a great week. We hope to hear back from you. Let us know about what good is happening in your group, what challenges you're having. We want to help you as best we can. But you guys are the front line. You guys are it. We love you. Thanks.